serious.
Do you think your toe's infected?
Yeah, I think it's infected.
Sable suffered 2 stingray stings a couple weeks ago when we were kite surfing. She had one that wasn't super painful, so she kept kiting, and then the second stingray,
the second one was
took her out, and she was...
I was done.
She was in tears on the beach.
Yeah, they're definitely more painful
They're
than I
super
would have
painful.
expected.
The only thing that helps is hot water if you're ever stung by a stingray.
Yeah. Anyways, so I got to scrub in on a lot of ortho cases this week, which has been cool because I'm kind of in a decision period. I kind of told myself that this week, or this rotation, the surgical rotation, I'm going to give myself these 4 weeks to basically decide, okay, do I want to do ortho like I think I do, or do I want to start looking elsewhere? So I got to do probably like 6 or 7 cases with an ortho this week. I got to scrub in on a total hip replacement, total knee replacement, something that's called a troch nail, which is basically just a nail inserted into the femur between when somebody has an intertrochanteric fracture, which basically just means a crack in the bone between these 2 bony prominences on the femur. So got to do 2 of those, 2 troch nails, and then also got to do a biceps repair, which was really cool. We just basically went and searched for the tendon up in the arm and then tied some really durable suture and then pulled it back in and made a hole for the new suture to go through. So that was really cool.
And where the bone?
Yeah, so in the head of the radius, they just drill a hole through it, and then they basically, the suture is called fiber wire, and it's really strong, and then they just pull it through the little hole that they make in the head of the radius. Some super cool time in the OR. I definitely like surgery.
All right. We have our morning smoothies for our car ride to the hospital, and it's still dark out.
It's just starting to get light outside. We packed up all our stuff, surfboards. That leads me to our life balance tip of the week. Jaden's coin term.
Yeah.
So, number 1 is pick a place that you love or an activity that you love and make time for it every single week. Whether that's surfing, like we love, or painting, or singing, or hiking.
Climbing.
Yeah, anything that you love to do, make a time in the week that you will dedicate to doing that. For us as medical students, what that means is we concentrate a lot of our studying, so on days that we have obligations at the hospital, we'll just kind of dedicate those to study days anyway. So we come back, that sort of means we have longer days, we'll kind of study into the nighttime around dinner time, so that when the time comes, we have a free day or a free couple hours to go to the beach and surf. That's been huge for us to maintain a balance because we make a huge effort to dedicate time to doing something that we love every week, and that's super rejuvenating for us. It refreshes us to be more enthusiastic about our work in the hospital, and then obviously we're stoked to be, having fun with our hobbies. So we're just reviewing anatomy of the foot because we have a foot amputation today.
We try and find out what surgeries are going to be happening the next day so that we can study up on them before we come in.
They write them on this big whiteboard.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than being quizzed by a surgeon while you're scrubbed into a procedure and not knowing any of the answers. Studying up on the surgery beforehand, mostly just the anatomy that you're going to be seeing. Classic morning commute conversation for 2 medical students.
Today I got to scrub in for a bilateral mastectomy. Kind of a disfiguring surgery, but I got to do a lot of sutures. I got to do a really cool surgery. So it was a total knee. We basically just open up the knee joint and shave off all of the articular surfaces, all the bones that touch and normally move in your knee joint. Shave them all off to fit the prosthesis, and then you measure them to fit the patient, and then it was just a lot of bone flying everywhere, a lot of muscle flying everywhere. Then they fit the prosthesis on, and they're beautiful and shiny and slick, and then they test flexion and range of motion with the prosthesis, and then they close them up. It's pretty rad.
I was looking in the window of the OR and they all look like astronauts.
Yeah.
For these big joint replacement surgeries, they have you guys wearing these huge hoods.
Yeah, which today I figured out why, because sheesh, that's a lot of tissue flying into your face.
Yeah.
It was like, because they're trying to make a slick, flat surface between the prosthesis before they cement the prosthesis to the bone. And so they just take these rotating saws that just shave right through, and then you just get bone in your face. So I'm glad I wore it today.
Well, you participated in replacing someone's knee today. That's pretty cool.
It was rad.
It's time you meet our lunchbox.
Mr. Yeti.
Everybody knows us by this lunchbox because
seriously.
we carry it
miles away. They're like, oh, there they are.
Yeah.
In their lunchbox.
We
Because
carry
you have
it.
to bring like an entire day's worth of food for 2 people. So stacked.
So we bring it every day, packed with food. And we've been doing that since the first year of medical school, and it's made it to year 3.
Yeah.
So.
It's going strong.
All right, finished surgery for the morning. And now I'm headed outside. And it's very bright because we have just over an hour till we're meeting the surgeon to do some post-operative rounding. So I'm gonna get a quick power nap in the car because I have progressively been losing sleep this week. Strategically parked in the shade. It's gonna be perfect for a nap. All right, I got like an hour. Get a little power nap in. Perfect temperature for napping right now. So I didn't really get to take a nap because Sable texted and said that amputation that we had been studying for in the car this morning is going to be happening in a few minutes. So I'm headed back to the OR so I can try and scrub in on that. So I'm hanging out here waiting for Sable. It's almost 7 p.m. We got here around 8 this morning. So it's been a pretty long day. Sable is scrubbed into an orthopedic case right now for a biceps repair. I'm excited to see how it goes. I kind of wish I could be in there to observe, but with orthopedic cases, it can get pretty crowded in the OR with the x-ray machine and surgical techs, and they always have a rep for new equipment that they're testing out, so it can get pretty crowded and there's not much room for me to be able to see what's going on. But I'm excited for Sable. She's gotten to have a lot of experience with orthopedic surgery this week. For me, I scrubbed in on 2 cases today. The first one was a laparoscopic cholecystectomy, which means removal of the gallbladder. Laparoscopic means that instead of making one long incision to gain access to remove the gallbladder, there are 3 small incisions made, and through one, the camera goes through it, and then through the other 2 incisions, the surgeon exchanges different surgical instruments throughout the operation. One person is holding the camera so the surgeon can see what he's doing, and then the surgeon has his hands on instruments that are going through the other 2 holes. At the end of the surgery, they pull the gallbladder out in a little bag through one of the holes, and it's always crazy to see gallstones inside a gallbladder. Today, there were 2 stones, 2 pretty big ones. I've seen a gallbladder with multiple smaller stones. It's just crazy because they're pretty heavy, and when the gallbladder is, dropped onto the tray, the gallstones moving around on the metal actually sound like little rocks or little marbles. I could imagine it would be super painful to have some of those in your gallbladder.
That was our week at the hospital, and we drove down to the beach, so we're here now. It's a beautiful day. It's super warm outside. Scrubs and flip-flops. Gonna go check the surgeon. Yeah. There's dolphins right there. I don't know if you can see them. Hold on, I wanna see. Oh, look! We should just go surf with them. Hang out with them. Alright, this is the scrubble vest that is getting changed in the car. Still got my scrubs on top. And halfway changed into my wetsuit. There's a cute guy getting into my car. Hey.
see some dolphins.
Dolphin buddies. Every time I get in the water, they come. It's fabulous.
The sun just set when we come from the hospital. We don't have that long before the sun sets, so it's gonna start getting dark here now pretty fast.
All the way home, baby. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to the sphere of safety.
This is how we minimize our wetsuits sitting in the back of the car and getting salt water everywhere. We change in this little thing, and it also keeps the wetsuits from getting all dirty. And this is Sable's beautiful
My dress. My gown.
Yesterday, when I was scrubbed in on an appendectomy case, this patient had a big liver abscess that the surgeon drained. And to me, I was thinking while the surgeon was draining it that it smelled exactly like nasty salt water, like rotten salt water. And then today, down at the beach, it was really low tide, and so there was some exposed tide pools and stuff, and that smell down there today of like rotting salt water was the same as I smelled in the OR this week. So it makes sense, the body is mostly salt water. So this morning, Saturday morning, I am on my way down to the beach to go surfing. Sable was feeling a little tired and under the weather, so she didn't want to come. We have another sailing race today in the afternoon. This time we're joining on a friend's boat. So surfing this morning was fun. Waves were good. I only had a short amount of time, so I didn't bring the camera. We have a few weeks where there's a race every Saturday, and it's nice here on our surgery rotation. We have weekends off, so we're able to get out on the water.
So the way Sailboat Racing works is the race committee will set a buoy and anchor their boat, and in between the two is an imaginary start line. As you can see, all of the boats out here are of different sizes. Some of them are much faster than others, so each boat has a different rating. This race was a pursuit race, so they started the boats with the slowest rating first and the boats with the fastest rating last. This means that if you have a fast boat, you're going to be playing catch up for the whole race, but it also makes it fun because each boat you pass, you're going to beat to the finish line, and so it's nice to be a faster boat picking off the competition for the entire time rather than being a slow boat who started first and having people pass you throughout the race.
That's the boat that we started with on the line, so that means that they're rated about the same as us. So we've already passed them, so that means we beat them. Unless they catch up to us, we should beat them towards the line. These are all the boats that are slower than us that got a head start. So in order to beat them, we have to pass them and beat them to the finish line. So we're passing these guys. Rounding the downwind mark for me. My job is over with the spinnaker. So I'm just chilling.
Now you can go.
Clear! So I'm just chilling, eating this sandwich.
Watch.
And here we are approaching the finish line. We're neck and neck with these guys. And here we are crossing the finish line. There ended up being over 100 boats that were registered for the race, and all of these boats you see there are the ones that we beat, so it ended up being a pretty good day.